The Chiefs are winners of at least 13 games for the third time under head coach Andy Reid, and with only 3 games left in the regular season, they'll have a chance to move within just 1 game of clinching the top seed in the AFC playoff picture with a matchup against the Houston Texans. The Chiefs became just the 3rd team in the last 15 seasons to record 6 takeaways and at least 5 sacks in a single game last week against the Browns, joining the 2019 Carolina Panthers and the 2012 Houston Texans. The 6 takeaways were the Chiefs' most in a single game since they forced 8 against the Jets back in 2016, and their 5 sacks matched a season high. Now, the pass rush is always important, but it's of particular significance this week against Houston. That's because quarterback CJ Stroud has been sacked 45 times this year, second most of any quarterback in the league behind only Caleb Williams. Those 45 sacks are 7 more than opponents recorded all of last season against Stroud, and he's been sacked at least 4 times in 7 of the Texans' 14 games, most of any quarterback in the NFL. And that benchmark is meaningful because when Stroud has been sacked at least 4 times this season, the Texans are only 2-5. But when he's been sacked 3 or fewer times this year, they're a perfect 7-0. So those protection issues are a big reason why Stroud ranks 14th in the NFL this season in passing yards per game after leading the league in that category as a rookie in 2023. But he can still make all the throws. We've seen that over the course of this year, and he has some big-time weapons at his disposal as well, notably wide receiver Nico Collins, who has 53 catches for 849 yards and 6 touchdowns in only 9 games this season. Additionally, Collins still leads the Texans in targets this year with 78, despite missing 5 games, and he's drawn at least 6 targets in each of his 4 games since returning from injured reserve. So Stroud will be looking Collins' way on Saturday, just a matter of the Chiefs' defense finding a way to slow him down. Now, with all of that in mind, maybe the number one reason the Texans are 9-5 this year has been their ability to create turnovers defensively. They have 28 takeaways this season, second most of any team in the NFL behind only the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's directly led to 93 points, the 3rd most of any team in the league, and 28.4% of their total points as a team. That's the highest rate in the NFL, and for context, if you remove the takeaway points, Houston's only scoring 16.7 points per game. Now, the good news is the Chiefs are one of only 2 teams across the league that hasn't turned the ball over the last 4 weeks, the other being Buffalo, and the Bills have only played 3 games in that span. So for the Chiefs going into this game, don't turn the ball over and keep this trend going, because this Houston defense is opportunistic and they often make the most of taking the football away. Now, the Texans also have an excellent pass rush. They're second in the NFL in sacks this year with 45, and half of that production has come from only 2 players, edge rushers Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. In fact, the Texans are the only team in the league to feature multiple players with double-digit sacks this year. Houston has also forced the 2nd most negative plays of any team in the NFL, and on those, opponents have lost a league most 453 yards. So these guys are aggressive, but as we've seen over the years, there's ways offensively to kind of take advantage of an aggressive pass rush like this and keep it at bay. I'm thinking of things like misdirections and screens, and Xavier Worthy is certainly a candidate to do things like that, and we saw it last week against Cleveland, another very good pass rush. Look at his touchdown, for example, and this technically went down as a rush, even though it was essentially a pass. And this play was designed to completely take Myles Garrett out of the equation. This play made some history for Xavier as well. He's now one of just 5 wide receivers in NFL history to have at least 3 rushing touchdowns and 3 receiving touchdowns as a rookie, and he still has 3 games left to go. So this will be a challenge for the Chiefs on Saturday. The Texans have playmakers on both sides of the ball, but it's also a great opportunity as Kansas City aims to move to within just 1 game of clinching the top seed in the AFC.